most people will never scale a business past 100 grand. But more importantly, I know how I did it and what contributed the most. And in this video, I'm going to show you the exact steps that I took in order to get to that big 6-figure mark. What I'm going to talk about in this video isn't just theory, it's exactly what I did to actually get to that 100K through business. Now, I'm going to assume that you're either already in business for yourself or you're doing something fairly high leveraged. If you don't have anything specific that you're working on, watch this video. I'll pop it up right here. I'll put it in the description for you to watch. It's an amazing video, and just if you don't have anything that you're working on currently, that video will help you find it or come up with your next business idea. In my opinion, it doesn't matter what kind of business you have. Every business can essentially get to that point. Honestly, the business model does not matter. You can get to 100 grand or to 1 million or however much with practically any business in the world. As long as you just put in the time, the effort, as well as you really want it, it's going to work out for you. For me, I have a home service-based business, but if I did any other business, I truly believe this, I would still be where I am today. So don't put thoughts into your mind along the lines of, oh, it's my business model that isn't working, I need to switch business models, blah, 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 because it's more than just the business. It comes down to you, your habits, and how badly you really do want the light. In my business, the thing that played the biggest role with honestly just producing more revenue and just bringing in more money was hiring people and having a good team. It's also what's played the biggest role in my personal success as well, but not just hiring anyone though. Now, I'll keep this part short because a lot of people already talk about this a lot, but I'll tell you why it's essentially so important. And in my opinion, the right way to go about it. Me specifically, I only hire and work with my friends of friends, and family. And every now and then I hear someone that says, oh, that's not the way you should go about it. You shouldn't mix family and business and whatever. But the truth is, if you can't work with, be productive with, or make money with your friends, they probably shouldn't really be your friends. That's a useless friendship in my opinion. So try and work with your friends, because in the end, it's always the most fun making money with your boys as well. The most important part about hiring though is making sure that your friend or whoever you hire has proper work to do. Like they're not doing meaningless work, and at the same time, they either are or able to make really good money by doing it. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense to hire them, and it just doesn't make sense for them to work with you. I understand that not every business needs hires, but as soon as you can afford to do it, trust me, do it. And you can delegate anything from creativity all the way to labor. And when you do, one way or another, it will result in your business making more money as long as you are a good leader, because that should free up your hands from doing one task. So then you can focus more on the main money producing task. It's a risky play if you don't do it right, but as long as you can make sure that your employees have work to do and they're getting paid well, that's all that matters. The business will guarantee grow, as well as that you will make more money. And for me, that was the biggest thing. If I never hired anyone, my first year in business, I made 50 grand in one summer. I would have probably made 10 to 20 grand. Granted, most of that would have been profit, but still, it's a lot less money. And my second year, I probably would have done 20 to 30 grand if I didn't hire people. We did 70 grand last summer. So just hiring people and having a team around you makes such a big difference. And of course, as you do these things, you start hiring people, you're going to learn from it, just like every other aspect in your business or even in life. And as you go about hiring people or doing any task or thing in business, you're going to learn about it, but you're going to want to learn about it before you even come to it. And in my opinion, books, videos like this, courses, podcasts, etc., are what make the difference between a 25-year-old millionaire or even a 50-year-old millionaire. You can definitely make it on your own and just by learning everything on your own as well. But do you really want to do it all on your own, as well as that probably prolong the entire process by 2 to 3 times the amount? For me, the answer is no. And this is something I need to get a little bit more back into. I haven't completely stopped learning, but one thing I took a step back from was reading. And if you look behind me, there is a fair amount of books, plus a lot more that I have. Mainly, I took a step back from it because of my current workloads, but I will be getting back into it, and I will do this kind of challenge or actual step that I'm going to ask you to do in a minute. But before I knew what business to start, how to do it, literally any of this, I remember I had locked myself in my room for essentially 8 months. And all I did was just read books on business, sales, personal development, communication, etc. I just read. And for me, the main books that made the biggest difference were, of course, How to Win Friends and Influence People, The 10X Rule, and The 48 Laws of Power. Those were the main ones for me. Of course, for everyone, it can be different. But if you aren't dedicating a good amount of time and money into learning, you are really setting yourself behind. And you're really just bringing down your chances of success more closer to where you were when you first wanted to make a lot of money. Be that when you were living a middle-class life with nothing extraordinary to your name, or even living a life more closer to the poverty line. By you not focusing and prioritizing on learning, you're getting yourself closer to there. And a quick actionable step that I think will really help you and that'll also participate in is really quick, pick out a book. If you don't have a book, what the hell are you doing? Joke aside, go and order a book on Amazon or whatever right now. But get a book. For me, I know which book this needs to be. For me, I will pick Sell Like Crazy because this is a book I just bought and I've barely read it. But pick out a book, and for the next 7 days, before you go to bed, set a 5-minute timer and just read 5 minutes of the book. I don't care who you are. Everyone has 5 minutes of time. If you don't, then sleep 5 minutes later. But just do this for the next week. If you aren't able to commit to this, the odds of you being able to commit to something bigger in order to get to your dream life, where it's either having full financial freedom, never needing to worry about money again, or just having full freedom over your time, never needing to work for another boss, etc., the odds of you getting to that are pretty low, because committing to reading a bit of a book is going to be a lot easier than doing that big task in the future. So we need to start with these little things. That's what I'm telling you to do right now, and what I'm going to do as well. Now, the beauty of reading, and specifically making it a habit, is that it really improves your focus. And I'm sure you're more than familiar with this, but focus is the difference between the guy who wants to make money and the guy who currently is making money. And really quick, if you're enjoying the video, if you could please take a second and subscribe to the channel, that would honestly really mean a lot. Thank you. I'm sure you probably relate with me on this one. Whenever I see someone who's talking about wanting to make money, or who talks about all these extraordinary things that he wants in his life, if I see them the next day or on social media, or I hear from them about a friend that they're just not putting in any work, that they're procrastinating and whatever, I can tell that that guy is not going to make it. They're not going to make it to their dream life, and they're going to go back to that life, and they're forever going to stay in that life and thought of, I want to make money. They're never going to grow from that, and they're forever going to be trapped in this one place for the rest of their lives. And a big part of that is because of their focus. And honestly, that's what most people in today's age who want to get into business, or who are these entrepreneurs, that's their biggest problem. They don't have the mental capacity to be able to focus on one thing for even a small amount of time. And that's honestly just the entry level of focusing as well. As you start climbing the ladder of personal development and business, you'll see people that are able to just lock in for multiple hours on one task, and some people even doing that multiple times throughout the day. But it is pretty challenging to go from being a dopamine monster to even just starting. It of course is and will probably be a little bit hard to snap out of this whatever dopamine addiction you have, and slowly start to realign your life and slowly start to refocus yourself on the things that you want to focus on. But I want to give you 2 fairly big life hacks that did help me with just being able to focus myself more in on my work. The first one is doing something outside of where you're normally comfortable and relaxing. For most people, that's their bedroom. So at the same time, me as well, I do have my setup in my room. When I work, of course, mainly it's outside, so I don't really need to worry about this all the time. But of course, I do still do computer work every now and then. Now, one thing that probably will help you with getting out of this comfort zone, and the thing that I did, is either move out of your room or rearrange your entire setup. I'm sure if you've been watching me for some time, you know that this is not the original setup. The original setup was me standing on that side of the room recording this way. No, standing here recording this way. But now I just changed everything. And when I do work outside, it's a lot easier for me to just lock in on my work, because I'm not going to be able to sit down or lay down. So that's one extra thing that I started doing. Don't allow yourself to lay down. Of course, you could sit down if you're doing computer work, but do not let yourself lay down, because when you do lay down as well, that signals to your brain that it's essentially nighttime and your body's getting ready to sleep. So your brain will just function at lower brain power for the rest of the day. So don't lay down until you need to go to bed. And the important thing is, as soon as you do make the change of either moving to a different room maybe even renting out an office or rearranging your entire room, you need to just fully commit for the next 3 days to making those 3 days the best work days of your life. Because as soon as you do that, that will set a new standard for you in this new environment. Because if you don't set that as the new standard for the new environment, you're just going to relapse and go back to whatever you're doing before. And then you're going to need to rearrange it again, or actually move out of your room this time, or actually get an office space. Trust me, this is the easiest way to go about it, not specifically rearranging your room, but doing this and then fully committing yourself to just making the best 3 work days of your life. I hope that makes sense, but that's what helped me out a lot. And the second thing that helped me out is more broad, and this lasts a lot longer as well. It's more of an instant fix as well. It's just committing yourself and setting goals that are very ambitious. For me, whenever I set a goal that's ambitious, as in it's a little bit out of reach for me to get, that instantly excites me more, and it really just makes me want to work harder. Whereas if you're working towards something that's super easy to do, you're probably going to be a little bit more lazier, because then you have the thought of, oh, I can do this, that's whatever. Whereas when you have that thought in your head that goes along the lines of, okay, this is going to be hard, you want to just get to work. You start thinking to yourself, okay, let's just get to work. Honestly, I think you can probably relate with me on that too. So of course, I set high goals for myself in business, and that's what really just helps me with pushing myself as much as I can. Because if I just set the goal for myself every single day, okay, I'm going to go out, I'm going to get 1 or 2 sales, that's not going to push me. Whereas if I'm going out, I'm like, okay, I'm going to get myself 4 sales. I'm going to help everyone else on my team get 3 sales. I'm going to make sure that every home we service today or clean, they leave us a 5-star review, and they all leave 1 referral. When I start thinking like that, not only do I just start wanting more and start working towards more, no, that is exactly what I do. That's the only thing that happens when you start thinking like that and you start goal setting like that. It literally re-sparks your flame, or it sparks you a flame in terms of reaching your best life and making as much money as you want or can in your life as well. If you want to go more in depth on this, I'll put another link in the description. This was a video that I created about exactly how I went about setting up my goals, especially the first year of business when I did it. That helped me to go from being a nobody to everything I had after the first year. So watch that video if you just want some extra help with that. Now, I'll make this final point extra short, because if I don't, I'm afraid that it'll take away some of the meaning from it. When you focus on trying to become someone who's worthy of having the life you want, the results feel like they come to you. You change your perspective from chasing to attracting. Now, I'm not going to explain further on that, but we'll do another quick actionable step or exercise. Take a second and think, who do I want to become? Now think about someone that you know who has achieved those goals, or think about what the person would be like, their actions, their beliefs, the way they talk, how they work, etc. Put it all into your head. Even pause the video for a minute if you want to keep thinking about that, or if you want to journal about that really quick. Now take another minute to start thinking about what you can do to be more like that person. Think about how you can start acting like that, taking those actions, behaving like them, and feeling the achievements of the goals that you want. Hopefully this video is able to help you out in increasing how much money you make, because these are essentially the 5 most important things when it came to me making the money that I have at the ripe age of 18 years young. Actually, no, I'm 19 years old now. I turned 19 5 days ago. So feel free to wish me a happy birthday, but 100 grand at 18 through my business, it's a pretty sweet achievement in my opinion. And here's a quick recap for you. Find a business, hire the right team, keep learning, improve your focus, become the person worthy of having what you want. So yeah, that's essentially how I did it. And those would be the most important things that I would focus on if I had to go from 0 to back here. And at that point, I'd probably do it a lot quicker too, because now I know these things. But yeah, thank you so much for watching the entire video. I really do appreciate you. One thing I will suggest is go in the description, sign up for the newsletter. It's essentially weekly writes of these videos. And the reason I would suggest that is because written form always just hits different. You always get some extra knowledge from that. So go ahead and check that out. And with everything being said, enjoy the rest of your day. Have a good one. Bye-bye.